It's Jay Fisher. This is a Wisconsin IPA quality reporting video. This particular content today is about loading information into the C3 Analytics registry. As a reminder, the registry system is for clinics that don't have an EHR or have an EHR that does not report the necessary quality measures that are required under your specialty for reporting content to the IPA. As another reminder, this method uses patient or encounter level data coming probably from your billing system, where someone, whether it's someone in your billing company or in your administrative staff, adds a G code to each encounter or to each encounter that's pertinent to one of the quality measures that you're required to support. And the G code is the identifier that says whether or not the specific encounter meets the requirements of one or more measures. So you'll use that data to create a file. And what we're going to do in the most of this video is we're going to walk through what that file looks like. Once you've created the file and saved it onto your computer, you'll log into the C3 Analytics system to upload that coded encounter file. And note, for HIPAA purposes, once you've loaded that file, once you've taken that file and you've loaded it up to the C3 Analytics system, you should delete the file from your laptop because it'll contain PHI, and it's generally a HIPAA violation to retain unencrypted content, unencrypted PHI content onto your laptop. So let's take a look at what's the file format for taking those loaded encounters and passing them on to the C3 Analytics system. Here's a template for all of the content that you extract from your billing system should be formatted to be able to pass successfully to the C3 partners, to the C3 Analytics software. If you need to get a copy of this template, you can download a CSV or spreadsheet version of this template from the same page on the C3 WIPA website where you click to watch this video. So let's take a look. Let's walk through what needs to be the format of this CSV file. In general, you'll need to create a file that has all of the fields, all of the columns that are showing on this page, and the columns need to be in this sequence. When you download the template will have all of this explanation. It'll have the column or the row that shows we expect in a couple of sample encounters. Of course, before you give us your own data, you'll want to clear out these rows and load up with just your own content. So let's get started. The first three columns are pretty self-explanatory. The NPI of the physician who had the encounter with the patient, the tax ID number, and then a medical record number or some sort of number from your systems. This is really a number that you'll use if you want to come back and do some research later on into whether encounters were coded the way you expected them to be. There's another column that you can also use to cross-reference patients. Most of us won't need this. It's an accession number, which is generally something if you're using a subordinate system under your billing system to be able to identify patients that come from a different subsystem like a lab or radiology system. If you don't use those, then you can leave the contents of this column blank. That's just fine. You have to include the column. Be sure that the column stays in the template, but you can leave the content blank. The next batch are the materials that come directly from your billing system. The patient's date of birth, the date of the encounter, the CPT and ICD-10 codes, and any CPT modifiers that are required. Now, these CPT codes are the encounter codes, the things that actually happened within your clinic. They're the E&M, the office visit procedure codes. There's another set of codes that needs to get added in. Those other codes take the format of CPT codes, but we refer to them as G codes. They're the content that is unique to each of the quality measures that you'll be evaluating and the values will indicate whether the individual counter meets, does not meet, or is exempted from the reporting requirement of each individual measure. So once you've populated this spreadsheet from your system, you'll need to save it, name it, and upload it to the and upload it to the C3 Analytics system. So in order to log into that system, you should already have a username and password. If you don't, contact your C3 Partners coordinator and we'll set you up with one. But once you get that password, you'll want to save the URL. Your login ID is going to be your email. One important thing to note is that when you do log into the system, the email login is case sensitive as well. So you'll want to be sure and use the same capitalization rules when you log in as what were used when you first created the system. You'll have a password when your user profile is initially created. The system will automatically give you a password. You can keep that one, or when you log on the first time, I think you'll be prompted to change it. So once you put in that information and click through, you'll be presented with a panel that contains a list of things you've loaded in the past. If this is your first time, obviously these will be empty. For older files, what I like to do is that we don't have a particular format that we require for file name. My suggestion is in the file name, I'd use a format that says your clinic name, probably the year of the encounters that we're evaluating, and then something that tells you what's the data. Is it Dr. Smith's data, or is it data from the first quarter or the full year? Something that basically this name is something that'll be helpful to you later on if you need to go back and take a look at what content you've actually loaded and put into the registry. The C3 Analytics system will put in the date. It'll put in an identifier of what clinic you are, and the initial status when you first upload a file, you'll know that the file uploaded correctly, where you get a status that says in process. It generally takes a day or so for the files you loaded to complete, and then when that happens, this flag will automatically change to completed. So you can check the status of what you've uploaded by coming in and logging in and just looking at this panel and seeing where your files stand. So when you're ready to bring in your file, just click on the upload button, and you'll get a pop-up window where you can take that file and drag it into this icon, or you can click on this icon and navigate to the folder on your computer where you save it or where you've saved it, and bring it in, and that's it. From there, what will happen is the C3 Analytics system will process probably overnight. It doesn't process immediately real time, but it'll process probably overnight the content that you've loaded. Once your encounters have all been calculated, they'll be automatically loaded up into Macromonitor, and we'll have a separate video that shows you, if you care to, how to go into Macromonitor and take a look at what's the most current measure scores and evaluations that you have. And then as everyone else in the IPA gets their data loaded, the content will automatically be posted into the WIPA dashboard, and you'll have all the comparatives and the analyticals that we use for WIPA. So that's it for getting data from your billing system into the C3 Analytics registry system in preparation for the WIPA dashboard. Thanks.